And yeah, so this will be I think around 45 minutes. And look, it needs to be a reasonably lengthy conversation about DasCoin and the ecosystem, because there's a number of elements that everyone needs to understand. So that's sort of how it's going to play out. My name's McCarthy. I've been with DasCoin since October of last year. I have a couple of licenses that are in my account, and I've purchased others that are in and around my account. So I'm absolutely committed to the DasCoin opportunity. And after we kind of get through this presentation, if you're an existing member, there might be more information. Sorry, there'll be a clarity around information for you. And if you're new to the opportunity, then maybe you'll be in a position to make a decision. So I'm based in Australia. I'm living an hour north of Sydney, in a place called Long Beach. I've been online for a couple of years now. This is probably the best opportunity that I've come across in that time. I've sort of been part of a number of other money-making opportunities that really, when you sort of unpack them, have not got the business structure around them like DasCoin does, and we'll go through that. So prior to that, I've had 40 odd years experience in the commercial world, from startups to manufacturers to large corporates. I've worked in around the world with a stint in the USA, working with a franchise business in Las Vegas. So I've been back in Australia since 2010, and recently in July have committed to an online income strategy. So this is where I am right now, working with DasCoin. So let's just move on. This slide here talks about, you know, in brackets, you know, paradigm shifts. And I think for those of us that have been watching what's happening in the last 10, 20, 30 years even, you've seen the emergence of things that are disrupting the way we do things. And, you know, there's the definition of what a paradigm shift is. So I think we all accept that, you know, organizations like Google and Facebook, and the fact we've got smartphones that are computers in their own right, even to the email systems we use. Things have changed so much over the last 20, 30 years. But the ones I wanted to show you and emphasize are these two here, Airbnb and Uber. Airbnb does not own a room, does not own a hotel. Uber does not own a taxi. These are now, in a capitalized way, bigger than any hotel on the planet, or Uber, any transport system, you know, in the world. And this is what's happened. These are the sorts of things that are going on around us. And where we're taking this conversation is around money, and how there's a developing paradigm shift in the way we deal with and can deal with money. So what I'd like to just, again, quickly cover off here is, you know, in simple terms, I mean, the history of money goes back, you know, to a point where, you know, in this particular slide, we're talking about a cow. Well, that's really talking about the bartering system that was in place for many years, up until the time people started to produce their own, you know, hard coins. And then, of course, in more recent times, we've gone to, you know, currency, paper currency. And from there, there's been checks and on to, you know, credit cards. And this is where we're going to position this conversation. And this is where the money trail is now heading into a digital currency, virtual currency, you know, conversation. And this particular little icon here is, of course, Bitcoin. For most of us here, we know what Bitcoin is, but this is the new realm of money. It would have been hard to have accepted that 10 years ago when Bitcoin wasn't around, but there's been value attached to digital currencies, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And this is the new realm of currency that we're going to talk about. Now, what I wanted to show on this slide, and we'll come back to this, but I want to just show you this. Right now, this was at 4 o'clock today. The price of Ethereum is $10.90. The price of Bitcoin, if I can get to this slide, it's $972. So quite amazing, well, disparity in pricing, but the fact that there is a value attached to these digital currencies. But what do they bring to the table? And that's what we're going to talk about now. But the question I'm posing right now, I don't want an answer, is what is the price of DasCoin? So let's just hold that and move on. So we do need to revisit what Bitcoin has achieved over the last few years. Some of you will have seen this slide. When I was in the USA back in 2007, 8, 9, Bitcoin was not even was just a thought bubble. Now, as you can see over that period and up to 2012, it hit a record high of $1,200, and that was off the back of some instability in Europe. The Greek economy was flattened. The government of the day set in place austerity measures, and you could not, in fact, get to your bank to draw your funds out, or they were limited. So prior to that, people were putting money into their Greek drachma, I guess, or their euros into a safe place, or another alternative. And this was, in fact, Bitcoin, and why the Bitcoin price rose at that point in time. But since then, the price of Bitcoin has pretty much stayed around those sorts of levels. I mean, it has dipped and risen, but as we stand here today, the price, as I've just shown you, is just a little under $1,000. So pretty impressive for a digital currency to have achieved that. An example that's often quoted is a fellow, I think he was from Norway, that purchased $27 of Bitcoin and sold it a few years later for $880,000. Now, at that time, he didn't realize that. I mean, he purchased that $27 worth to do a research article on cryptocurrencies at the time. Didn't think too much about it. And I don't know who reminded him of that, but he went looking for his coins, and I guess because he was told the Bitcoin price was high, and he sold them at that time. And that is a published record. This guy was highly reported at the time. Right now, there are over 700 cryptocurrencies that exist today. They tend to be one-dimensional in that they solve a problem. Some of them have, a niche that needs this problem solved, and that's why they have got some traction. But what we're saying in the DasCoin world, that in time there'll only be 5 that will dominate the market. There will be others that will sit within this 700 space, but right now, as you may know, that Bitcoin dominates the market by 85% of that market. So, but there are some limitations to Bitcoin, and that's why the DasCoin strategy, in my view, will work, and it will become one of those 5 cryptocurrencies that will dominate the market. So, to the biggest issue with cryptocurrencies is that you can't spend them. Now, I know there'll be some of you out there that have Zappo cards and maybe other cards that are attached to your wallet, but the issue for you is that there is a different price to what you pay or you convert your Bitcoins at. So you're not dealing directly with your wallet Bitcoin to Bitcoin. So we might have this facility, but obviously Bitcoin is about the only one that does, but the others, you cannot spend them. We talk about Bitcoin and refer to these 2 fellows that have made some fairly significant statements about Bitcoin, and Richard Branson. And these are statements from a video that is, you'll find it on YouTube. It is well documented. So this is not something that our DasCoin Corporation have just, dreamed up. These are statements or excerpts from the statements that have been made by them. So Branson says Bitcoin may not be the perfect global currency of the future. There'll be other currencies like it that will be better, and we believe that will be DasCoin. Bill Gates talks about Bitcoin will not be the dominant system. We need things to draw on the revolution of Bitcoin. And again, we believe that will be DasCoin. Okay, so let's just go back. So to sort of wrap up, you know, what is the future of money, a new realm, just to sort of, you know, summarize here, in less than 10 years, Bitcoin, the world's first cryptocurrency, have attracted over 10 million users, and the current capitalized value is $17 billion US dollars. Now, from something that was basically created on a couple of computers back in 2008-9, to have this intrinsic value assigned to it is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. There is over $50 million a day that is transacted in Bitcoin every day. So I guess I'm trying to just give you the essence of this, and that virtual currency, digital currencies, crypto, whatever you want to call them, it's the same thing. This is not going away. It is growing every day. So imagine what the value of the first cryptocurrency could be if it was adopted mainstream. I mean, Bitcoin didn't go out day one with a marketing strategy like DasCoin has. No, they didn't. It took 3 years before it actually got some attention. So there has been no plan around Bitcoin. It's been accepted because it was the first you know, cryptocurrency on the block. It's had a level of security that you know, people believe and trust in, and as you know now, you know, there's a lot of people using Bitcoin. They've all got wallets, so there's this sort of acceptance level of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency as a means to transact value from A to B, from Sydney to London, from London to Las Vegas. So this is happening. This is happening every day. So to the DasCoin asset system, and that's what we are really here to talk about. It's not just the coin. This is not just about a coin. This is about a digital asset system. And for those of you out there that will struggle with that, I just want to simplify it in terms of an accounting system. I mean, I'm an accountant by training. I've used MyOb, QuickBooks, and Xero. It is somewhat similar, yet we now have, from the old days of the Kalamazoo double ledger system, which is where I started, we've got, you know, accounting systems that are in the cloud. We talk to our banks. We can send copies to our accountants. You can append stuff to your accounting system. That is why Xero and MyOb and QuickBooks have value in the market today, because they've got this internet flavor to it that adds value. And this is what DasCoin have done. So I just sort of wanted to kind of give it my spin on this, because I know a lot of people out there that are not into cryptocurrencies don't understand what's happened in the past and where it's going to take us. But let's just try to keep it sort of real. Okay. These are the aspects of that accounting system, if you like, in my example here. This is the DasNet services that will add immense value, intrinsic value, to the DasNet or to DasCoin. That's the output, basically. That's the output measure. This is going to add huge value, and we'll just, you know, quickly sort of cover them off. I mean, the blockchain that they have developed is a private blockchain. It's like the chart of accounts in accounting terms. Without a stable chart of accounts, you will not understand what your business is. The blockchain, you know, it appends. Let me just get up the definition of this. I mean, I had it out there. A blockchain is a digital ledger in which transactions made in Bitcoin or other currencies, cryptocurrencies, are recorded chronologically and publicly. Now, that's what a blockchain is. Now, the Bitcoin blockchain is the same blockchain as it was when it was first, if you like, invented back in 2008-9. Whereas the centralized blockchain and the private blockchain from the DasCoin organization, if it needs to be changed, improved, etc., that'll go before a board, a planning process that will ensure that the credibility of that change is right. So I guess what I'm saying here is the blockchain here for DasCoin has a far more significant value than the blockchain solution you can download off blockchain.org. Now, the most interesting thing about this is that because of the value in the blockchain technology that the DasCoin Corporation have delivered, that is available for sale. Now, what I mean by that is the organization is currently talking to fairly substantial corporates in the world that don't want to build their own blockchain. Just imagine insurance companies that need to timestamp their renewals. The land registry, departments around the planet, they need to timestamp the sale of property. And more recently, the copyright industry, they're looking at blockchain services. Now, that's sort of kind of in the pipeline, and rather than spend the money developing their own and applying skills they don't have, they are talking to us about that. Right now, the banking industry, certainly the tier 1 bankers, they are investing massive amounts of money in their own blockchain, because the transactional cost that reductions that come from the blockchain environment are substantial. And if they don't do this, then they're going to be uncompetitive. Now, with the DasCoin Corporation, they are talking with probably not necessarily the tier 1 bankers, but those that can't afford their own blockchain, and they're looking to apply the DasCoin blockchain. But what that brings to the table is what we call utility, because if you take on board our blockchain and you're an insurance company you want to use, you've got to use DasCoin. So it brings more use of DasCoin to the business. I know that's probably a long part of the conversation, but that's sort of what's happening out there. Don't really understand this piece. There's an array of encrypted data services. I haven't been informed of what specifically they are. Smart contracts, I kind of alluded to that. I mean, the Ethereum coin that's out there right now, that's currently at around $11. It's one-dimensional. It does smart contracts only. But these are digital contracts that are, in most cases, will be self-executing. And they are appended to our blockchain. And so you could be, charting the conveyance of goods from, one country to another, and the payment of that transaction could be GPS related. So once you get to a certain point on the planet, that ship has passed it, it can self-execute the financial commitment that comes with it. But the smart contract industry, and it will be a big industry as we see it going forward, is going to take out a lot of that accounting, lawyering that has that costs a lot of money. But it's going to create a new industry. But I guess the basic kind of components of building and executing contracts, in writing, will in the future will travel down this path. So this is where DasCoin have taken on board this opportunity to add smart contracts into its technology. I mentioned blockchain as a service. That's pretty straightforward as per my explanation. And also there's other infrastructures that will be provided as part of the service. So again, the DasNet environment, which is the ecosystem we're talking about, it's going to combine the best technology elements with the optimal infrastructure design. Look, I don't understand what all this really means. I've sat in front of the guys that own this business, which is so important to actually see these guys. But they're going to bring what we're calling this Internet of Value by way of better performance, a more efficient system, more secure, more reliable, and more scalable. So, okay, to DasCoin. Essentially what they have done, they've copied the best of Bitcoin and developed it further, and they're going to bring DasCoin mainstream to the mass public. And so it's just a whole different kind of business strategy to the one that other coins have, and certainly Bitcoin that didn't have one. The key attributes of DasCoin, the DasCoin ecosystem are these. Capital appreciation, which I'm sure everyone here wants to hear more about. Liquidity, that's where the business wants our DasCoins available on the exchanges. Oops, let's go back. And of course, utility, where you can actually use the DasCoins, and of course, security, even more important. So some of the details. I won't go through all of this. I want to keep this video as short as I can. Under capital appreciation, we will be the first cryptocurrency to offer, this sort of basket of value, which we're calling the ecosystem. And we talk about the mass market. Liquidity, this is very important. Without liquidity, we go nowhere. And what's happening is that in the retail broker market, there's a platform called MetaTrader 4. Now that currently provides those that use it the ability to trade for foreign exchange. We are providing a plug-in to that provides a solution that is 20% faster. So the incentive for this retail industry is to take on board this plug-in. Is that they can complete their transactions faster. But to take on that plugin, they must bring with it the features of DasCoin. So just wanted to let you know that this is where the thinking is of this business. So they're targeting institutional traders and the prime broker model. Okay. To the utility, and this again, all of these are very important, but utility in this case, and we've been talking about it, most of you have heard about it, we're talking about DasPay. DasPay is the mobile payment solution, which is a sort of a tap and go payments you can make at, I think it's 50 million stores around the planet that accept MasterCard and Visa. And so that's going to, give a reason for, people to use DasPay. There are smart contracts, as I mentioned, and there's also blockchain as a service. So all of these things will engage with people to use DasCoin. Security, again, very, very important. They have adopted the highest level cryptography commercially available. Now, this is managed by, apart from the owners of this business that make, I guess, all of the key decisions, but it's managed by a fellow called Alex. I can't remember his surname. I met him in Hong Kong. He's one of 15 people on the planet that has an MBA in cryptography. Now, that just says a lot to me about the caliber of people that the organization believes it needs to deliver on this opportunity. So, and not just Alex, he has 14 colleagues, and there's going to be another 5 added before the end of March. Now, this is information that's shared with me and the room when I was in Hong Kong. So we're not talking about, a couple of lads in the back of grandma's bungalow. This is a real business, and it has real people that got skin in the game, and they are absolutely committed to delivering this for anyone that wants to get involved in this business. Obviously, the private blockchain and the technology around it needs to be secure, and we have a global network of peer-to-peer vaults. So what's coming? I won't take too much time on this. I think we've talked about this if you've been to some of my other videos. DasCoin will launch in Q1 2017. We're very close now, heard this morning, very close to a date being announced, but it will be before the end of March, hopefully earlier. There will be 8.6 billion coins to be distributed over 12 years. Unlike Bitcoin that has 22 million coins that will be distributed over, I think, 120 years. As I've described, we're building an amazing infrastructure of value. I mentioned the MT4 plugin. We will be on at least 2 external exchanges by the end of June this year. There may well be a third, but the exchange component here is absolutely important, because if you're coming in or an existing member, you may want to choose the option to sell some of your DasCoin, and you can create an account with one of these exchanges, and you can deal with those DasCoins in your wallet that's available, and so you can sort of cash out if you wish. We've created a system that is private and transparent. I mean, it sounds like an odd thing to say in the one sentence, but the privacy is that when you join and purchase a license, that's obviously private to you. The transparency component is around the fact that the organization will have the blockchain and other elements of the business is audited by one of the top 4 or 5 accounting firms in the world. The full compliance aspect of this is around what we call Know Your Customer, KYC. So again, a departure from the conventional where most cryptocurrencies just take a name, it could be anybody's, an email address, it could be anybody's, and then you're off and running. Here, they want or see as the future of the virtual currencies or the digital currencies we're talking about here, and certainly for DasCoin, governments wanting to know what is going on. So if we provide that KYC protocol in the back office, it's going to mean that, you know, when countries around the world start to get a bit more interested in this as the volumes increase and they want something out of this, we'll be ready to roll. As I've also mentioned, there's the smart contracts, an amazing technology that's just blossoming now. The mobile pay solution, we have it in place, it's ready to go. It's the same technology as Apple Pay. The people behind that and the technology behind that we have engaged with. So at the end of 2017, this will be available, and it will be on a rollout. So we're managing people's expectations here. It will be a rollout process. So it may be, let's just pick an example. Let's call it Australia. We may be the first to go. Then it might be the UK. Then it might be Greece. It could be, you know, a list like that. Or there may be multiples occurring at the same time. DasPay, as we've mentioned, has access to over 50 million global outlets around the world. I think Bitcoin, you might be able to deal in 150,000 outlets around the world. We have, and again, it's something we haven't mentioned to this point, there will be instant transactions of 6 seconds between the retailer, you using either your debit card, which you'll get if you purchase a license, or if you've got the app on your phone, you can pay for the TV you're about to lug out the door in 6 seconds. It responds to the value and the DasCoins in your wallet. So to be able to make that statement and prove it is immense. It's just going to provide all the credibility that we need just in that particular component. And there will be a loyalty rewards and discount process that will assist retailers to understand their customer base. A couple more people that have made fairly interesting comments about digital currencies. And this fellow, Oliver Bussman from Switzerland, the UBS bank, has said that the blockchain as a digital ledger will heavily impact the way we do business in the financial services industry. And I found this particular statement by the Prime Minister of Singapore even more substantial in that he is talking about smartphone payments are disrupting traditional banking. Everyone, and it's growing by, I think, another 2 billion phones next year, moving to smart devices, whether it's a smartphone, an iPad, or whatever. And so we don't need to be locked into a PC sit at home situation. We're on the move, and that's the way that I guess the generations in front of me are traveling. So what all this means is spendability, and it's pretty important that this is understood, because DasCoin, the Das net environment provides those that are involved in this, and they need to understand this, we are able to spend these coins and spend them just about anywhere. We can cash them out at the ATM. We could trade them up on the exchanges. We can go down to the local grocery store and buy the groceries for the week. 6-second transactions. I mentioned the leadership team in broad terms. These are, in fact, the guys. And you need to know that I know these guys. They're not necessarily in suits, although I think pretty much every time I saw them, they kind of were. But these are real people. I mean, Michael is the CEO that runs this business. John runs the marketing arm. George, the web wallet and a lot of the technology piece. And Terry, if you can see him there, he's in charge of the DAS financial part of the business. And I just got to say, they are amazing. They're inspirational people that have brought fabulous resumes to the table. They are very well skilled in what they do, but practical business people. Blair Baker, he is the glue, in my view, to all of this. I mean, Blair sits sort of aside from the corporate team. He is, geez, I mean, he's got a list of on his resume that I haven't sort of noted all here, but he's got 20 years of capital market experience. He's widely read. He writes for a number of financial magazines. He's apparently introduced to Wall Street trading technology that is similar, if you like, to the solutions provided to DasCoin. He is managing what we call the liquidity of the DasCoin, engaging with the broker industry, engaging with, in fact, you take it a step further, he's engaging with heads of government to use the DasNet environment to produce savings and an infrastructure that delivers value. But again, I've met Blair a few times now. He's out and about. He's front and center of our business. Look him up. Find out who he is. He is amazing, man. Amazing bloke. Okay, we're on the home straight now. The hybrid system, we talk about this, and the hybrid system is really a combination of what's centralized, if you like, within some models, business models in the cryptocurrency world, and to the decentralized, which is the Bitcoin world. So centralized, where we have, in this case, the DasCoin packages. You buy one of those. It's distributed via the Net Leaders website. With that, you get a license, and on that license, you receive cycles and upgrades. That is then presented to the DasCoin minting process. And then after the DasCoins are minted, they go into your back office. So that's the centralized piece of DasCoin. And then we move across to the decentralized component. Now, there is a qualification in this. This is where you manage your own wallet with your own DasCoin. But if you're someone that is concerned about losing your password or your login details, then there will be an option to retain that within the centralized system. If you choose not to and you want to go it alone, but you lose your your ID information, then your DAS coins are lost. So you must understand that we have this sort of hybrid solution, and that's what it kind of looks like. Okay. Okay, so I don't know whether again you can see this. So we're talking about the DasCoin ecosystem being, you know, in this hybrid conversation, centralized and decentralized. We've got, as I've mentioned, 50 million outlets to take us mainstream. We've got the public exchanges happening April through to June 2, maybe 3. And of course, we've got ATMs that we can access for cash outs via a debit card that you'll receive with your license. Right, okay, we might have mentioned minting as opposed to mining. So we're going to cover that. DasCoin are going to produce 8.5 billion coins over 12 years. The sizing of the number of coins, it's probably a question I haven't raised or heard an answer to, but clearly it's a lot of DasCoin to be distributed over 12 years, and I believe that that's, you know, equates to a sensible number. I mean, that could be in time, you know, be it €1 or 10 euros of those coins. Right now, the DasCoin will come down to 2 decimal places, something you may not be aware, versus Bitcoin that goes to, I think, 8 decimal places, but that can change. That is a variable in the network that can change if required. Okay, when you buy a license, you receive cycles. You're buying a software license that come with cycles. So this is just a visual of I guess, what the cycles, you know, look like. Well, they don't look like that at all, really, but this is just a visual of it. They are units of stored capacity. It's a bit like buying frequent flyer points. You can use them to buy anything in the catalog. When you purchase a license, you get cycles. Now, those cycles can be presented to the network, and you can use them to get DasCoin. You can use them to buy a smart contract. You can use them to purchase other products and or services from the DasNet environment. Now, these conversations we've had over the last 6 months have been about getting DasCoin, which is where the conversation is. But what I'm telling you is that this is going to go further. So another visual of the minting process, there are the DasCoins, sorry, there are the cycles that you've purchased. They are lining up on a first in, first out basis. There's the DasCoin. They go through the process, and out the back comes DasCoin. Now, those are appended to the blockchain and then lodged to your wallet. Okay, so right now, for those of you that have purchased licenses that have upgrades, and upgrades, they will all go into the minting process on the day they start minting. You will not have to wait 108 days or 216 days. Now, that is a very important piece of information that you need to understand. Now, if you come in after the launch, after minting starts, and you purchase a license, and you purchase it on the very first day, you will wait 107 days before your cycles are introduced to the minting process. Okay, just so you understand that's the way it works. I've mentioned the blockchain. There's just huge interest in blockchain technology. There's just lots going on. There's lots of investment happening in this blockchain space. Where there's a solution for a blockchain, people are investing in it. I mentioned the copyright example. That is a real thing. That was announced, it was reported last week, where there's been so much, it's very fractured. No one in Hollywood knows who owns what. Well, they do, but no one is trusting that process. So the chain of ownership across that copyright process has not been perfect. So here we have an organization or organizations that are investing in, I think it's an Ethereum solution to build a blockchain and a smart contract environment for it. So again, just watch what's happening here. The encrypted digital wallet, there's been thousands of man hours put into this. When we just talk about a wallet, we step away and think, well, it's a wallet. But it's not. There's more to it. This is a full function connected wallet system. So when you look at all of the pieces here and what the development process must have been, you know, I just applaud the people that have put this together. I mean, it's high-ended encryption. It's got to deal with the minting process. It's got to deal with a deep-level security system. There's all the exchanges that are going to be attached to it. And of course, the cycle submission. So just to talk about Web Wallet in its own right is an impressive conversation. And again, I don't have the full understanding of that. So let's just look at rounding up the ecosystem. And this is what we've got. This is DasCoin Corporation, if you like, and the output being the DasCoin value. We've got the marketing system that you'll remember. Either you've got a coin leaders license or now a net leaders license. That's the process. That's the organization that manages that and the authentication. The web wallet I've just talked about. Any of these fintech products that make sense to this business will come in through the Das Financial organization. I'll go to Das Payments first. The payment solution, pretty easy. We understand what that is. Another big component of the ecosystem. And of course, the trading engine and exchange services, very, very important that the connectivity between, you know, our wallet and the exchanges is in place. Now, I spoke to the man that runs this business. He has it ready to go. As soon as the minting starts, we're off to the races. Okay, so how do we get involved? What do you want to do? I mean, this is where, I guess, the rubber hits the road. DasNet's a new kind of global network, and how do you position yourself to get some value out of this? And what I'm putting to you is that, you know, if you get involved with DasCoin, you're part of this private global network, which essentially is DasNet. Okay. Now we're talking about where we are today. Now, if you're either new to the business or want to be new to the business, this is the offer right now. We are offering software licenses that come with cycles. Right now, there's a 30% bonus. These are the number of cycles that you get on the bonus side, and there's the total number of cycles. But for those that don't understand, there are upgrades that come with these licenses. So where it says 1, that means that 1430 is doubled. That 7150 is doubled, and so on. So there's 2860 by the doubling of the upgrade, but you've got to divide it by what we call the frequency lock. Now, the frequency lock is a calculation of the growth of the network. It responds to the growth of the network. So as the network expands and there's more users, more DasCoin, the risk in this business decreases. When I first purchased my license, it was at 3.7 or 4.3, can't remember. But you can understand that someone coming in today and taking even a standard license, they are taking less of a risk than you did back, you know, in October. So they, you know, will get less DasCoin. Now, these are the DasCoin that come out of this calculation. So if I have a €100 license, I've got 572 DasCoin, and it happens to get to a €1 as an example, you've got, or you have the capability of selling those DasCoin for €572. Take away the 100 that you purchased it for, you've made 472. If you pay for a president package, you're going to get 676,000 DasCoin. Take away the 25,000 you paid for it, and you have got 651,000 1,000 DasCoin. Now, if that comes in at a euro, that's just mind-blowing. And we'll get to that conversation in a minute. So each license includes authentication, a digital wallet, an amount of capacity, and a number of upgrades. Okay, so what we're looking at here is the process that NetLeaders takes us through when you purchase a license. Your identity is verified. You receive the certificate, which is looking like that. Some of you will have those. You'll receive keys to your web wallet. Again, for some of you, well, for all of us, that hasn't happened yet, but that will come. For those of you that see this recorded video, I'm hoping that will have occurred. The capacity, as I said, the number of cycles that you receive will be noted up here, and the upgrade, I think, is sitting over there, and you can print it off and bang it to your wall if you like. Okay, right, now the opportunity is this. You can become a customer or an advocate. A customer is someone that just sits on the license and waits for the capital appreciation. Happy days, no worries about that. Or if you're someone that's interested in promoting the opportunity like I do, and most of the people that are probably sitting on this video, you may take the other path of being an advocate. So there are three ways to earn: direct sales bonus, a network bonus, and a matching bonus. So as I mentioned, your choices when you purchase a license, you can come in straight up as a customer, purchase the license you can afford, done. If you're interested in promoting the business, then you will pay another 45 euros, and then you'll have access to earn commissions on 3 levels. You have an advanced back office education system, an advanced back office system and an extensive learning system. There's a 5-level deep learning system that is pretty impressive. I saw that in Hong Kong. There's only 1 level sitting on the back office at the moment, but it's pretty amazing. Right, okay, so we're now looking at what happens if you become an advocate. You earn commissions on license sales. Yes, you get access to the advocate back office and the advanced education system. This is what the back office would look like if you were an advocate, where you've got, in this case, if you're an advocate, you will have customers and you will have advocates underneath you. And it'll tell you what the sales are and what your license looks like, the earnings on the lifetime direct sales, and so on. There'll be, this is only a sort of probably not a great shot that's been cut here, but you get the message. This is the back office that you get if you're an advocate. Right, so we've now got 3 levels of commissions. So if you're a person on this call that's a customer, well, just sit tight. I just want to take the others through this. With a direct sales bonus, like even an offline business where you're selling stuff, you will be negotiating with the boss to get a bonus. That's no different here. On a direct sale, you get 10%. That is paid, 60% of that 10% is paid in cash, and the other 40% is paid to a reserve account, which you can then use to purchase DasCoin or smart contracts or whatever else is available. The 10% network bonus is paid on the weak leg. If you're familiar with binaries, you'll get it. But to qualify, you need $500 of sales on left and right. And again, there's commissions of 10% split 60 and 40%. The exciting part of the comp plan is this piece here, where you can earn up to 30% in matching bonuses, depending upon the level of package you purchase or the sales that you achieve. And again, there's a qualification around the sales left and right. And there's a cap out also per level, but we'll go through that. So again, this is pretty easy to understand. There's you sign up these people, you get 10% of whatever those little shields are. Yeah, so that's all easy. This over here is the binary. It's an example of Peter Smith, who's there's a little piece that's missing over here, but there is the lifetime value of the left leg and the week's sales there, and there's the week's sales on the left leg, on the right leg, which is the weak leg and the pay leg. So in binaries broadly, and certainly for DasCoin, it works the same. You get 10% of the volume, the sales volume on your weak leg. Okay, so that could be from spillover, it can be from, you know, people you've placed in there, and so on. Now, at the end of each week, the $2,700 here is deducted from your power leg. So that is reset to $2,700, and that resets to 0. Okay, I think most people that are familiar with binaries will understand that. And again, it keeps track of the lifetime value of the binary tree that you're forming here. Okay, the matching bonus. As I said, this is the most exciting part of the comp plan. If you're into advocating the business, you will earn up to 30%, 5 levels deep. So here's you. You've introduced these people here. You personally sponsored them. You get 10%. Okay. They sponsor someone, you get 15%. This guy sponsors someone, 20%, 25 and 30%. Now, again, there's some qualifications here. You need to be have purchased 25,000 President's package to get this happening for you. But the strategy here for the business is that it's encouraging you to help people down the tree. So if this is me up here and I'm helping Bob down here, who's my 5th level, to get sales, I'm getting 30% of the binary income that this guy earns. Okay, let's just take another step, another view of this. Here are the levels of licenses you can buy. There's a new one in here, not yet available, but let's just look at the ones that are. If you've purchased a €100 package, you don't get any matching bonuses. Okay, but if you've purchased this and you've achieved these levels of sales here, you will automatically achieve these commission percentages. And that's once you've done it, you've done it. You don't have to kind of repeat that every week. So if in the first week this guy produces, you know, 2,500 of sales, he's going to get 10%. Or he can come straight into the system with a €500 package and get 10%. So that's how people can do it. So, I mean, there are some people that have come in there and I don't know whether they've quite got to these sorts of levels, but some have got very high up here and they're earning these matching bonuses. Now, as I said, there are weekly cap earnings here. So once you've reached 15,000 euros, that's it. So you need to consider upgrading to the next level of license. So just so you understand, but a very, very attractive comp plan. Okay, just to summarize, the commissions are paid weekly. There's no maintenance fees. There's no activity requirements. There's excellent education resources. There's not a lot there yet, marketing tools, and they're holding pretty much every 2nd to 3rd month global leadership events, and I've been to 2 of those, and they are good fun and good value. You're right on what's happening to the second with this organisation, as all of the leadership team are there. It's not like it's just we all get there to have a beer. There is real value, real quality presentations given by the owners. So what are we going to do? Are we going to be in the forefront of this digital revolution and become a customer or an advocate? Don't know. That's your call. But you know, I'm thinking that there's a lot of good information that I'm presenting here that does support a position here. But just to understand some of the, I guess, the back office stuff that's going on here, we have 2 Facebook. In fact, there's probably more than this, but the 2 I'm in, DasCoin Diamonds, and there's 548 members there. The DasCoin Millionaires Club, there's 454. This particular group was set up primarily for Australia and New Zealand, but we do have others in my team that are sitting in here. We also have 3, in fact, there are more, but the ones I'm in, these are the WhatsApp groups. Again, immediate information that's happening as it's happening. So I get warned or warnings or notifications of that. Okay, so let's just recap again why DasCoin compared to others. As you can see, DasCoin mints coins. It doesn't mine them. There's 50 million outlets. It has a web wallet. It has a payment app, which is DasPay, a 6-second transaction, and mass market appeal. This slide kind of doesn't tick too many boxes for the others, and we're talking Bitcoin and Ethereum. So when choosing a currency, what would you choose? The most popular, the one with most mass market appeal, or the one with spendability? Well, the answer to that is you choose the one that does all of them. Okay, so back to my earlier slide. And this is really the essence of this conversation about whether you're going to make a decision to get involved in this opportunity. We've got Bitcoin currently 4 o'clock today, $972. We've got Ethereum, one-dimensional coin, $10.90. And here we've got DasCoin that does Bitcoin better, has other aspects of DasNet that that makes it more superior than Ethereum. And so the price, I mean, I can't tell you what the price is or will be when we list in April, but if it was somewhere between 10 and 972 at the end of the year, that would be great. Imagine what that looks like on that other slide I showed you where you bought a 25,000 euro package. But even at half of €1 on day one, which is probably where it will sit, and then rise across the remainder of the year. That's where I see it. I see this being, sort of north of a euro by the end of the year. But again, my opinion only. Okay, again, just to recap, the digital revolution is happening. It's been happening for a number of years now. We just probably haven't seen or watched the space. I'm relatively new to it, but where we're talking about a market cap of about $20 billion now, this isn't going away. Smart technology is here now. I mean, our mobile phones are basically what we live and breathe with. The digital revolution is changing the world. The internet and what it has provided, and the value that it can create, that the DasNet owners, DasCoin owners have harnessed, is incredible. And why I believe there's a massive intrinsic value here. DasCoin Net Leaders is going to break the mold. That's pretty much what I've just said. Join and become a customer and advocate. Again, your call, but I think it's a great opportunity. You choose your license. Important to learn the business, certainly if you're an advocate. Attend the webinars and training, again, if you're an advocate, or even if you're not. Tell family and friends. Look, that's not necessarily the case. I mean, yes, you can tell your friends. Your family tend to find out about it, and the initial reaction tends to be negative. But I think time will tell the story here, and I'm prepared to take the flack at the moment. But I've got more people engaging with me now as I talk about all of the aspects that we've just spent the last 45 minutes talking about. And for you, I mean, you can only change your future. No one else can do that. Okay, look, thanks for spending the time with me. I'm hoping that it was of value and that you've learnt something here, or it's helped you make a decision on either of getting involved or being involved with DasCoin. If someone else has invited you to this Zoom meeting, please go back to them. If you've got questions, get them to them. If you're looking to join, again, go back to the person that invited you here. There will be links, because I'll put this up on YouTube, for people to contact me. So I think I'm done, and I'm really happy that we got through this. It has taken nearly an hour to do, but it does need to be a conversation that gets a bit down to the detail. I've tried to lift it up a level so you guys understand it. So if there's any feedback for me, look, contact me on Facebook, or at the bottom of the video, there'll be comment section there. Okay, look, I'm going to end the video. Hopefully the recording is good, and we'll see you in the next one. Okay, see you later. Bye, guys.